Hello everyone, again, it's Kirsty. It's been brought to my attention through my lovely subscribers and friends that the chart that I actually put up last night had the wrong date on it for Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra. Luckily the time was the same, so the angles and the directions are the same, so the map is the same. I put a chart up in the community section for when they were found in the vehicle, and now I've got another chart as well. See, we've got a problem with this case, and that's there's CCTV footage of the two vehicles. You would have seen one of them in the other video that I posted, but there's no time. There's no timestamp, and I think there's probably a reason for that. They've probably withheld it, but so we don't know when they were killed. But what we do know is that Savannah didn't turn up for her antenatal appointment at 6:30 a.m. the very next morning, so it's reasonable to believe that they were killed between 2 p.m. on the 22nd of December and 6:30 in the morning on the 23rd of December. So I moved the chart forward just a couple of hours, just because if they were last seen at 2 o'clock, then who were they seen by? You know, things would start to get rolling by then. So I've got a chart for that day, and we're going to pull it up, and unbelievably, or it's not even so unbelievable anymore, it still keeps happening. You're going to see that although I did the completely wrong chart yesterday, this chart in fact is probably closer to exactly the reading that I said and interpreted yesterday. So let's have a look. So this chart coming up now was the one that was discussed in yesterday's video. So have a look at that with the 7-degree Gemini, 7-degree Sagittarius DC, Gemini for the victims there. The ruler of the perpetrator in the 12th house in Taurus, Mars and Mercury and Venus pretty close, the Sun and Pluto pretty close. So have a little look at that one, and then we'll go to this is the new one. So 22nd of December, this is at 4 p.m. So this is what I always generally like to do anyway, when you don't know a time frame of what's happened, is move forward. So unfortunately I started at the very end, which could turn out to be when everything is over and done with, when they get caught on the 22nd. Who knows? But putting up this chart just a couple of hours after they were quote unquote last seen, by whom I'm not sure, have a look at it. We have 7 degrees Gemini as the victims, 7 degrees Sagittarius as the perpetrator. So the victims are ruled by Mercury, which is at 0 degrees. The perpetrator is ruled by Jupiter, which is over here at 5 degrees 42 of Taurus, so just about the same spot and in the same house as the other chart. This time though, the moon has moved radically. The moon was at 29 degrees, which was actually confusing, because if they were last seen at a 29 degree point, you would think they would be killed very, very almost immediately afterwards. So it should have alerted me to the fact that I'd made the wrong chart then. But anyway, the moon at 10 degrees of Taurus matches up with the map for where their car was found. So this is the map. Their car was found here on the 12 degree Taurus line, and there's the 10 degree Taurus line. So very, very close by. So basically we now have something filling in that gap that was missing from yesterday's chart as well. But not only that, there's a whole bunch of other things. It shows us even more clearly that there's 3 to 4, most probably 4 people involved. It puts Mars in the 7th house, so there's aggression in terms of, well, a male who's angry, obviously. Mercury, I think we could possibly have a couple of brothers or cousins, probably not cousins of the victims, but cousins just the perpetrators themselves. And then an older male that's probably in control of this whole thing. So it moved those things from the 8th house to the 7th house. So it's really generally showing us very much of the same picture. I'm looking at it and just still seeing guns and money. So there's still criminal activity. I thought that there was a female involved, and I'm not 100% sure on it. I'm swaying back and forth between the female. Female is Venus here in Scorpio in the 6th house. So, I think we have all of our perpetrators in here. And, maybe there's a female that's just, these are all grouped together, and the female is just out of sight and underneath the DC too. So literally in a shadow out of sight, Maybe there's a female that knows what's going on but really doesn't want to be a part of it. That could be the situation. This chart as well has 20 degrees of Leo on the end of the matter. So making the sun important, because the sun rules Leo. The sun is 1 degree away from the 8th house of death. So that's this older man. And he's not old. He's just like probably older than 29, maybe 30, 31, something like that. But older than the other people that were with him. So motive's hard because the very first thing that rises on the DC here is Mars, and Mars rules weapons and violence and all of those types of things. And being in Sagittarius, it just amplifies that need for violence and more weapons and such. So it leaves a lot of room for interpretation. But then when we look at the ruler of the perpetrator being Jupiter over here in the 12th house, hidden away, secretive, in Taurus, which is the sign of money, next to the moon, which is the co-ruler of the victims, that tends to then point in the direction of money being owed and possibly for weapons. I can't say that there's no drugs involved. I actually think that there probably most definitely is. It's just not as clear as it was with that T-square that was popping up in the chart that I did last night. So it still stands with the positions of where I think the perpetrator and perpetrators are. I think they live nearby. I think they live near where Savannah lived, actually. And that it then now is shown with that moon, which is the co-ruler of the victims, right next to the ruler or conjunct the ruler of the perpetrator in the 12th house. So there's a connection between the perpetrator and the victims, and there's a closeness to them as well, and that can be vicinity. So the map still stands, even the directions and the radius. The reading is a little tricky. The one thing I do see here is the Sun and Mercury are both at 0 degrees of Capricorn, very, very close to each other. So it's shining a light from this older male onto these two other people, these cousins. So I think there's someone that's in charge, two other people that did some dirty work, and the anger came about over money owed, possibly over drugs. So I do apologise for making the chart mistake last night. I don't believe anything's a mistake though, and I'm going to be interested to see if anything happens on the 22nd of January of 2024, because that's when I did the chart for. So yeah, these things happen for a reason, even though my brain sometimes is a little bit sizzled. Usually I'm quite surprised by the results, so let's keep our eyes and ears open and hope that they catch these guys soon. And they will. They'll get them soon. I think, like I said, they're on the radar. They're known. They've been in prison before. Yeah, it's as I know now from the comments, it's a bad area. It's a terrible thing, but it has happened, and this is the only thing that I could possibly do to help, and that is show an area here. I'll zoom in a bit. Remember, you can click on the link, but you have to use a computer. It doesn't work on phones for some reason. You'll open it and there'll be nothing there. So if you want to have a look at this really closely, you need to open it on a computer. So these are the points, and these are the areas that we need to be looking around and close by. And obviously, like I said last night, down through this tunnel here, wherever all this is, and here. But close to here or close to here is my best guess. Well, it's not a guess, it's my best educated guess. This line here, I'd be surprised if it has anything to do with it. The DC perpetrator line, or the 7th house cusp, usually generally goes to a perpetrator's workplace. So that could be possible if this person works, but actually I can't imagine that they do. But if they work in the drug trade or doing guns and gun running and stuff like that, maybe there's a road down here that's known for. I don't know. And also, obviously, don't go looking and trying to figure this out by yourself, because by all accounts, this is an extremely dangerous area, and I would never want anybody to do that. So this is just in the hope that the police may one day think, wow, this works. And for us astrologers and true crime aficionados that like to get to the bottom of things. Okay, everyone, take care, and talk to you at the next case. See ya, bye-bye.